The Blocktalk podcast started because of my passion for the property management industry. I wanted to start a conversation and add some value within the industry with a diverse range of people and professionals who can add something extra. As we start out, my aim is that the podcast offers some useful insight into a variety of views, opinions, thoughts, and foresights from our guests, who include business leaders and industry experts. If you enjoy the podcast and want to find out any other information, head on over to brianwelsh.co.uk. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blocktalk podcast. We have a special episode this week where we talk about all the things that are going out in our quarterly newsletter. So with me are Jaxx as normal. I'm not quite sure why she's got CPL Software as her name, but never mind. Crawford's here and Will's here as well. How is everybody doing? Jaxx, how are you? We'll go to you first. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's snowing outside, which I've just got soaked, so my hair's a bit wet. But I'm fine. How are you?
That is the reason I've got this on, by the way, because it's cold. Crawford, how's life with you?
Yeah, all good, Brian, thanks. Yeah, a bit like Jaxx, I suppose. Snowing here as well. So, yeah, thought we'd turned a corner and winter was behind us a wee bit, but it's got a lot colder the last few days again. So,
I have noticed that the snowdrops are out in my garden. And I'm not sure if they will survive this weather, but never mind. Will, how about you? You all right?
Yes, great, thanks. No snow for me down in the New Forest, but I did get a bit when I was up this weekend for the PMAS. I got to see a bit of snow when I was up.
Yeah, well, there was some actually. It was my snow. Okay, so today we have a few subjects to talk about. Team news. We're going to talk about CPL development, a bit about housing associations, I suppose, and then a bit of a Blockworx update, and then some chat about the Blocktalk podcast itself. So I'll go first. Team news. Okay. So, we've had a number of people, I think 4 maybe, pass probation over the last few months, which is fabulous. One of the things that's very important too is talent acquisition, making sure we've got the right people in the business and the right talent. And in fact, to go along with that, Helen's joined us as well. Now, I've known Helen for a good number of years. She actually lives down in Hampshire, I think, close to where my Insight office used to be anyway. And I met her in Insight, and she's, I don't know, if there's one person I would go to ask a question about people and culture and HR, it's Helen. In fact, we did over the last few years always ask her questions. So she's come on board. So we've always had an outsourced HR company up to now, and that's fine because it keeps you regulation-wise correct. But actually having someone in-house who can help us work on talent acquisition, talent retention, talent assessment as well, and also the culture of our business. And that's something that's very close to Helen's heart, as is mine. So it's great to have her come on board. She's working a couple of days a week with us. She's got a young family, and she's come back off maternity leave, actually. So great for her to have her on board. Will, you're going to have a bit of a chat around developers as well.
Yeah, so on the other side of team news, we're recruiting for 2 new developers. So we have 2 different teams that we're looking to bolster. So one developer we're looking for to add to our CPL2 team, which is the current desktop application. We're bringing them on to help with the list of requests we have for new features that we've been asked for, as well as also making improvements to the current features we have there, and also implementing some of the features that we would like to see in the product as well. So some improvements to that. There's a lot of work in the pipeline. The search is going really well. We've actually shortlisted 3 developers, which we'll be seeing in the final interview stages this week. So hopefully be making an offer and welcoming someone new to the team very soon. So that's going really well. And the other developer we're looking for is on our CPL3 team. So that's the new product we're working on, which is still in the very early stages. But that's a web-based React developer that we're looking for there. And we have some candidates in. We have some interviews lined up who've kind of passed the initial triage stage. So I'm hoping that that's going to go well as well. But yeah, all very positive, and just means that the team is growing and the knowledge is growing. And once they're on board, we should see the products grow as well and have more exciting features added to that. So yeah, it's all going really good.
Good, excellent. So do you want to actually, Will, do you want to just carry on and talk about where we are with CPL and CPL2 and CPL3? Say again?
No problem. So on the CPL2 side, so the Windows desktop application, our current software that everybody's used to, that is currently going full steam ahead with development. Right now, we're looking to sign off our current version, which is 0.11. That is hopefully going to be out for release in the next couple of weeks. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. In terms of what we're currently working on, the team have been looking at our data import process, and we've been changing that to allow for XML files to be uploaded. So currently, or previously rather, it used to only allow CSV imports. We've now updated the whole import system. So for all different import types, you can now import an XML document. So you can have your data in XML format, which I know is going to be helpful for quite a lot of people who may pull data from external systems, and that will be in XML. And we can now handle that format.
Okay.
In terms of CPL3, we're still working on the kind of initial framework, but that's really come along now. We're very close to almost having it completed. Our new product, which I'm sure mentioned in the previous updates, but for anyone that might have missed those, our new product is going to be a web-based product. It's going to be cloud hosted, and we're working on the framework there to allow for any users to access their data securely from anywhere, really, as long as they have an internet connection. So there's been a lot of technical considerations we've had to make for that, because of the way that our older software worked. We now need to allow that to basically come into the new age and be able to access that remotely for anyone. So that's been a long project that we've been working on for quite a few months, and it's now coming to the end. We're sort of just polishing off the last few bits, making sure our regression tests are all passing and catching any little things we want to change at this point. And then once we've kind of signed that off, we're then looking to really write in the new features and the new bits of functionality that users can actually get to use and get to interact with CPL in a whole new way. Yeah, that's going really strong. And once we have our new developers on board, that's only going to push forward that development as well. So it's all very very exciting, and I'm just looking forward to letting our customers see it really, and seeing what they think, because I reckon they're going to be really impressed.
Good.
Well, is there a new module coming in 259.11?
Yes, we have the plan maintenance as well. Good. Well remembered. That's coming out in the 0.11 release, which should be in the next couple of weeks. Oh no, sorry, that is 0.14. Sorry, that's not in the next couple of weeks, but yes, that is something we've added as well. So plan maintenance module, that's a redesign of the cyclical maintenance. Sorry, I can't get that word out. Yeah, so redesign of the cyclical maintenance system. We've had a look at that, made it simpler, made it flow a bit smoother from sort of creation to getting the jobs out to the contractors. Yeah, and that's coming in 0.14. So yeah, well, I remember Crawford, yeah, that is another module that we've been working on.
Okay, good. Okay, so housing association. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but over the last kind of 6 months, a year, I think I may have mentioned this before, we've seen an influx of kind of inbound leads and inbound inquiries from housing associations. And I think housing association software to run the actual housing association normally has bit of software in it that handles kind of service chargey sort of stuff, but actually doesn't handle it very well. And I know a few people who have gone from the private kind of factoring sector into housing associations, and certainly the feedback we get from them is that the software or the tools they're given to do their job are miles behind anything that they had in the private sector. So I think we can do a good job for housing associations. I mean, there's obviously that thing, it's utopia that every bit of software is in the one, or every tool you use is in the one product, right? And unfortunately, it is utopia. It's there's no way you are ever going to find the best software in the one product, because the housing association's impetus and focus is never going to be property factoring. It's always going to be the housing association side of the product set. So over the years we've created quite a lot of very good interfaces and integration options, so that you've not got double keying and all of this sort of stuff, because that's an absolute no-no in software these days. So we've done a huge amount of work on that, and in fact we've got a couple of case studies on our website now, one from Fife Council and the other one was from West Scotland Housing Association on the great things that we managed to do for them. So yeah, it's going to be a big focus for us, I think, over the next year, which is great, for us and for them, and hopefully these guys who have been contacting me about having to work with less functional and less useful software will get back to what they're used to. So that's good. Right, Crawford, Blockworx update. Do you want to let us know what's going on there?
Yes, so the last release of Blockworx was the one that we had been waiting on for a wee while, which was the optical character recognition one, the OCR stuff. Essentially, what that does from a contractor's perspective is it allows a contractor to be able to upload batches of invoices directly into Blockworx, rather than them having to key in manually the data that is recorded on them. Massive time saver from a contractor's perspective. And it's been out now just under 4 weeks. We've had some really good feedback from some of the contractors that we've kind of set up the OCR stuff for. I mean, the big thing from their perspective really has been about how much of a difference it's made in terms of literally the speed that they can upload 25 or so invoices. At the moment, it's done so that you can upload a batch of up to 25. That's 25 across however many factors that from a contractor's perspective, however many contractors you're working with that have got Blockworx. So if you've got 6 for factor X and you've got 9 for factor Y, then essentially Blockworx just looks at the batch and it reads the data which is on your PDF. So if you output your PDF direct from your accountancy system, and that PDF's got details on it of the development, who your client is, i.e. the factor, value of the invoice, the date of the invoice, job number, then essentially the OCR stuff, the OCR software just reads all of that information, and then it just bulk uploads the lot of it directly into CPL. So that has been really well received. The next piece, and I know I shouldn't really talk about what's coming when you don't have it yet, but the next piece and the piece of feedback that we've had from contractors so far, it would be that when we look to do it for diarised charges, which for those people that don't know what those are kind of regular pieces of work where you would upload either an invoice or simply a checklist to the factors. The next piece of it in terms of development work will be to look to upload batches directly onto diarised charges, and once we've got that in place, then I think originally some of the feedback that we had received was we were very heavy on producing functionality for the factoring side of it, but the contractors, we just had a couple of sort of missing links, maybe not quite the right term, but certainly now with the jobs being able to upload using OCR and diarised charges coming in terms of OCR, then that should make a massive difference to the contractors. And we've already noticed in the last couple of weeks a number of contractors actually contacting us directly to say, want to sign up for Blockworx, what is it I need to do? And they've mentioned the factors that they're looking for. So that's been great. That's been really good.
Good. Excellent. Certainly a focus of ours, definitely Blockworx for the future. Okay, what else do we need to talk about? Blocktalk podcast. Jaxx.
It's we are now in season 2 of the Blocktalk podcast, which kicked off at the start of the year with Malcolm and Zoe, Malcolm Perriman of the Property Institute and Zoe from an agency who deals specifically with block management recruitment, Block Recruit. We talked about the challenges in the recruitment space within the industry and how there maybe needs to be some adaptation to try and satisfy recruitment requirements within the industry. And we also talked about the challenges around that and some facts and figures, and also the sort of perceptions and expectations, I guess, of owners and directors versus people who are in the industry or who are maybe applying to be in the industry. So I think it's just one of these sort of natural developments as new generations come on board, and with recruitment being so different now, people are just looking for different things.
That was a fascinating chat, that one. It really was.
It was a really good discussion. That was the first one that we kicked off at the start of the year, into February. By the time we got that one out, just with different things that had happened, we were a wee bit late in releasing the first episode. But you can go back and listen to...
Sorry, one thing. We had a great chat around NLP in that podcast.
Yeah.
So, Crawford, you've done NLP, have you not?
Yeah, I'm a qualified master practitioner in NLP.
Right. I find that so my brother is as well. I find it utterly fascinating. Anyway, sorry, Jaxx, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. So yeah, we had that discussion, which you can go back and listen to, of course. And there's also a short bite size every week after the main podcast. We choose an 8-minute bite size piece from the full one, in case anyone doesn't have the time to sit and listen to the full podcast. You can just have a taster of it. We've also been joined by Neil Bissett, who we saw at the PMAS Awards on Friday night as well. Neil is the Managing Director and co-owner of PMC. He's also now the, what's it called
President.
in the PMAS?
President.
PMAS, that's the one. And
we were listening on Friday quite well.
Yes. So we're just trying to get some more people lined up for the rest of the year. We're just gathering together our guest list, and we've got a few people on the horizon. We've got Christian Bruce coming back on. He was one of our first ever guests. Hoping to get the winner of the Property Manager of the Year on as well. So, and a few other people as well, just on the burner at the moment. So. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a good second year of the podcast. And if anyone has any suggestions, or if anyone themselves would like to come on, if you've got something to contribute to the industry, it's very much a podcast for the industry, about the industry. We're more than happy to hear from anyone who wants to join us, who's got something good to contribute.
Excellent. Thanks, Jaxx. Okay, right. Thanks for listening. And if, as Jaxx said, if you want to come on the podcast and with something to talk about with regard block management factoring, then we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll do another one of these in about 3 months' time. Thanks for listening.